Dig that music, kids. It's Kirby's Dream Land from 1992 for the Nintendo Gameboy. His first adventure, and the first Kirby game reviewed on Classic Game Room. Fitting, isn't it? A lot has changed since the original. What's remarkable is how basic this game is, and how much fun it is to play. There's something to be said about the simplicity in the original Kirby's Dream Land. For this review, I'm using the Game Boy player for the GameCube and my Game Boy Advance SP. It works well with either. If you're a fan of the series, I recommend going back to the first one. See how basic Kirby can be. He inhales enemies and spits them out, and you score points using a variety of different tactics. It's like an old school arcade game, and I like it because of that. I'm usually not that into platformers, but Kirby has a charm that makes it impossible to dislike him. And this game isn't that difficult, so even the most awful platformer like me can eventually get through it and then go back and play it again for points. I have to give a giant Classic Game Room shout out and thank you to Nicholas from Revere, Massachusetts for donating Kirby's Dream Land. It took a while for me to get to it, but it's renewed my interest in Kirby, and there's a whole lot of games that were released after this one, starring our round, portly friend. It's a short game and really easy to pick up and play, so Kirby's Dream Land makes a good game to bring with you on a trip, if you still rock the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance. Or Game Boy Advance SP, the one I recommend. I absolutely love the music in Kirby's Dream Land, and it's a lot of fun to listen to that through the Game Boy player on the GameCube in stereo. For those who find platformers frustrating and irritating, then Kirby's Dream Land may be just the one for you. The game gives you a lot of freedom in some ways. It may take you a few times to get through it, but there's not any one part that's overly frustrating or so heavily based on precision button timing and jumping that it just becomes a bore. I lose patience quickly with a lot of side-scrollers, but Kirby is friendly and relaxing and fun, just like his name and appearance. Kirby! How do you dislike Kirby? We're watching one of my earlier playthroughs, and after you get acquainted with each of the levels, you can go back and time everything differently. There always seems to be a way to inhale an enemy and then use them to hit another enemy to maximize your points. What I've been doing is a bit out of sequence. Sometimes I'll end up with an enemy and then have nothing to shoot them at. So Kirby just has to dispose of them. You've got to wonder what horrible enzymes are at work inside of Kirby, because the guy literally inhales enemies and then turns them into weapons. I thought that Dig Dug was violent. Kirby may be more violent and horrible than even Dig Dug. So, thanks again to Nicholas for donating the game to Classic Game Room. Hopefully some of you will want to revisit Kirby or play it for the first time starting at the beginning. It's Kirby's Dream Land. Even when you say that in the most evil way, it still sounds happy.
Kirby's Dream Land! Mwahaha!
No, that still put me in a good mood. Still sounds happy.